Hi guys, welcome back to Wild Treks. I got a Bivy with me and a tarp, so we're gonna set up a nice camp somewhere, and I'm quite flexible obviously where I can stay. Don't need much of space, but it would be nice to stay somewhere with a nice view. But no views today. As you can see, I'm here in the parking lot just off a main fire trail. So we're gonna walk the fire trail for I think in good 2 hours. Then we're hitting a small trail that takes us deeper into the bush, and then we'll see where we're going to stay for the night. So I'm following a particular trail. It has a name, so it must be a trail, but this looks like a creek bed and it's really wet. Not deep obviously, just puddles at this point in time. But I think if the weather changes and there's a lot of rain, this becomes a creek. Wow. Jesus. It's going up here. The trail changed a little bit. Became quite rocky for a few hundred meters. Alright, it's quiet, there's almost no wind. First views of the water. Alright, I think we're here at the highest point of this particular section of the trail. More importantly, it has kind of flattened out, which means for me I can actually use this area for my bivac if I like. Let's see, I actually wanted to descend to the water, but if I find a nice open spot here, maybe with views over the water, that wouldn't be bad either. Yeah, I'm looking for a camp spot. I can see a really nice rock shelf on that side. But it's going to be a bit of a challenge to get there, I reckon. We're going to check it out. Oh, look at this. Not an ideal spot to camp. Oh my god. This is awesome. There's more over there. Gonna check that out. So I dropped the pack a couple of 100 meters down there just to explore this. Well, I think I found the spot here. How epic is this? I think I'm gonna get my pack. I'm gonna make this my camp for the night. Man, I'm walking into spider webbing. Alright, so my setup for the night, I brought a Bivy bag, and I'm going to use a tarp. So I'm looking for a way to span a tarp ridge line. I see an option here, but it's quite a distance. I'm not sure how long my ridge line is. I think I got a 10-meter line, so hopefully it just works. But I don't need much. And then we set up the Bivy here. And yeah, I will show you some of the techniques I use to set up the tarp. So one end of the tarp ridge line, I'm going to connect it to this little branch, strong enough, with a clove hitch. So it's very straightforward. Cross the rope once, and the working end goes under here, leave a little bit of length, and that is tight enough for a tarp ridge line. So next, what I want to do is create 2 points where I can attach the tarp to the ridge line so that it doesn't move. Obviously I don't have any wind at the moment, which is fantastic, but if you will have wind, the tarp goes everywhere. So in order to prevent it from moving, I'm gonna tie 2 butterfly knots on the edges, and I used a little clip to attach them to the butterfly knots. So the butterfly knots have been a little while that I did it last. Butterfly knot goes a little bit like this, huh? You wrap the rope around your palm, then the middle one goes under, the middle one goes over and under. Let's see if that works. And I did. So that's my first one. So now I clip in one of the corner of the tarps so I can determine where the other butterfly knot goes. And if wind picks up, this will not go anywhere. Alright, so now we're gonna tension up the ridge line and determine where I'm going to put the second butterfly knot. It's about here. Same trick. Under, over, under. Clipping it all in and together. Alright. So on this side I'm gonna tie off the ridge line with a prusik, so I can actually adjust the tension as well. And this line is now tight enough for the tarp. So the only thing remaining to do for the tarp, I'm probably going to use only 2 guy lines, one on each side, maybe one in the center, and I will tie one to this little tree there and the one longer one to the tree over there. Yeah, nice bowline knot. So I'm applying the same prusik as I did for the ridge line. Yeah, I left the paracord is cutting into the tree, but that is nice. But it is the Australian hoochie, as they call it, very similar to the British basha, and so it's actually in a military design, if you like. And you can see it has these buttons, so you can actually attach 2 to make it a bigger tarp. So this is of the brand DAS, Tactical Assault Systems, an Australian brand. I do believe they supply to the Australian Defence Forces. Now the great thing about this hoochies is all of the guide points. So you got 6 on each long side, and you got 5 through the center, which is absolutely fantastic. They're not particularly long, they're 2 meters 80 in length and 1 meter 80 in the width. But for the kind of applications that I'm using it for, it's perfect. They're not the lightest, they're not heavy obviously, it's polyester. So this is 30 plus years old. This was issued to me when I was in the Dutch military. That's when I started first using Bivies. I have been using Bivy bags for now over 30 years. I got quite a few. I will do a separate video on that. But this one is actually really nice. It's a very old-fashioned one. It's heavy-duty Gore-Tex, triple layer Gore-Tex. Now as you can see, entry is from the top, which is obviously really good. A lot of the Bivy bags that you can buy, you have to enter from the head end, which is hard work. So this is fantastic. Now, one thing I also like about this Bivy bag is this hooded area. But what I like about this one is that when you snug this up around your face, the fabric sits not on your face, and if it rains you can actually move that a little bit to the side, so that the rain is not coming inside the Bivy bag. That works actually really well. Looks a little bit clumsy, but it does work. Opposed to the ones with the zipper that goes through here, that fabric actually sits on your face, and that's highly irritating. I had one or two of those bags. I sold them after maybe 1 or 2 uses because I couldn't get used to have that fabric sitting on my face at night. I could not sleep. This works really well. Now, I did not brought my sleeping bag because I knew it's going to be quite warm. I do have a long pants with me. I got a shirt and this top with long sleeves, and hopefully that is enough. And obviously this is really warm, so hopefully that keeps me warm enough tonight. I believe it's going to be around the 16 degrees Celsius as lowest temperature tonight, so that should be fine. Yeah, awesome bag. And as I said, it's 30 plus years old, and yeah, it has done a good job. However, if you have to choose between a Bivy and a tent, I would say go with a tent. Ultra lightweight tents. Specifically in these days that I was using these Bivys, you didn't really have ultra light tents. Every tent was at least 2.5, maybe 3 kilograms as a minimum. So that's why Bivys were in those days a really good alternative. So here you can see the fabric. Yeah, it's 100% waterproof. So it's supposed to be breathable, but the breathability of any material is very limited. It only works in certain range of temperatures. Like now during the day it's 25 plus degrees, and that will not breathe. It's way too warm. You have to have cooler temperatures. So at night it will be fine, during the day it will not. I think I found my spot for dinner over there. Oh, that's so awesome. Let's have a closer look. Yeah. Awesome. I would have to explore that as well. Some sort of cave. So one reason why I haven't been using this Bivy bag much in Australia is because there's no mosquito net in the open area, in the hood. So my solution is this mosquito net. I'm gonna, wrap it around the Bivy bag like this. Have to crawl through this, crawl into the Bivy and enjoy my sleep. That's the plan. Camp is all set up. Gonna have a little snack, and then we're gonna explore the area a little bit. have a look how stealthy the setup is. Obviously I used a purple pinky ridge line, so that is quite obvious from a distance, but I would say maybe only 20 meters. The tarp generally blends in quite nicely. That's pretty awesome here. So I just walked away from camp following this cliff line, and yeah, you can walk here. Pretty cool. There are plenty of nice spots, but I do think I got one of the best ones. This one is nice, but it's not as flat. This feature. Look at this. So over the years I've done a fair bit of rock climbing, lead climbing or tread climbing, a little bit of mountaineering, some canyoning and caving as well, and with that I've done a fair bit of abseiling or rappelling, but haven't done that for quite some time. So I brought some equipment with me, and today I just want to, make sure that I still have the right gear for it, and testing it a little bit out. Just a setup. I'm not going to do a big rappel of some sorts. I will do that very soon. I only brought a 20 meters or 10 meters, I'm not sure, rope with me, so it's limited what I can do. But I'm starting here on a very simple slope. It's not a drop. You can easily walk it down. But I just want to make sure my setup is working. So the first thing is to determine where my anchor point will go. So I'm sorting out the direction that I'm traveling. So I'm going to use this slope here to move down. It's only 8 meters or so in total. And there are some small trees here in front of me, 3 in total. We're going to use these 2 to create my anchor. So I'm using a piece of rope, figure 8 knots on either side, screw gate carabiner, and I'm simply going to wrap this around. If it's long enough, it is. So I'm going to use this carabiner for my rope. So I'm putting on my harness. Making sure the leg loops are not twisted. They look alright. Okay, what I'm going to use is what they call an extended rappel. That means that my belaying device will extend a little bit from my main loop. So I remove the carabiner, clip my belaying device in there, attach this sling, making sure this stitching is on the side like this, yeah. And now I'm clipping in the screw gate carabiner again. Alright, so that's what it looks like, yeah. I find that a little bit easier in general rappelling. So traditionally the carabiner sits here, and that works obviously, but extending a little bit feels a bit more natural. Forgot one thing, just to put an overhead knot in the extension like this, making sure it's nicely dressed. Now you basically have 2 options if you come to abseiling, either double rope or single rope. Double rope is used if you want to retrieve the rope at the end of your abseil. With a single rope you either use a figure 8 knot of some sorts and tie that in your anchor point, but you will have to come back up to your anchor to retrieve the rope. So that's the downside. The benefit of that one is you can pretty much use the full length of the rope, so it gives you a longer pitch in abseiling or with climbing. So that's the main reason why people use single rope. Now I am not concerned about the length in this case, so I can use as double rope technique. So the next thing to do is to find the true midpoint of the rope. You want to make sure that both strands are the same length. Alright, both ends here. Rope length is 20 meters. Double check that now. This is my midpoint. I should actually mark it. Alright, going to clip it in my anchor point. The carabiner is the strongest along this axis. Yeah. So you want to make sure the rope is never pulling on the gate. So this is a fair, safe approach. So next, get 2 baits of the rope, push it through the belaying device and clip the ropes through the carabiner. So one thing I'm not doing at the moment, 2 things I'm not doing at the moment. Normally what you would do is you tie yourself in the anchor to assure you will not fall over, you know, the cliff when you do this kind of things, when you set yourself up. Now, because I've got sufficient space here and it is all fairly safe, I opted not to. Another aspect is I brought a helmet. I'm not wearing it at the moment. I would if I go, you know, for a serious rappel. One more thing I have to do is I'm going to use a stopper, a prusik. I put it under the belaying device. I'm going to clip it in probably in my leg loop. So there are different ways, different techniques to apply a stopper. You can use a clam highs as well, but the prusik is what I have been using and yeah, most comfortable with as well. And yeah, they work really well. So you basically wrap a smaller cordage around the ropes, wrap it normally 3 times. Okay, so this is a emergency stop, that if you for some reason not holding on to the ropes and you put your weight on this, it will hold you up. Yeah, and if you press down either side, it comes undone. Yeah, but if I pull here, it holds me up. I'm clipping the prusik into my leg loop. There's a little bit of discussion on where you should do it, but you can do it in the main loop as well, but I do it just here now. Yeah, that will work. Alright, going to check that the screw gates are all closed, and they are. So what I have to make sure is that the area I'm going to throw the rope is clear. Now obviously it is easy at this situation, but when you actually have a overhang, it's maybe not as obvious. It is the end of the rope, and it's common and good practice to put the overhead knot through the rope. It prevents you from sliding off the rope in case it's not touching the ground. Now in this case I don't have such problem, but still. Alright, so now I'm gonna toss the rope down in the direction I'm gonna travel. Before I'm going down, I'm gonna triple check my setup, but most importantly I want to make sure the prusik is working. So now I'm leaning back, I'm holding on to the rope obviously, but you can see I can actually hang in it without using my hands, and it's blocking me. Alright, so from here I can move the prusik down because that's blocking it now, and I can let the rope slide down. Well guys, that was a quick snippet of the process, the steps for how to set up a Rappel or Abseil. It was primarily for myself to make sure to go to the routine again, making sure I get all the equipment that I need. There's not much you need, but you want to make sure you don't forget something important. Yeah, that was fine. It was obviously a very easy slope. There's nothing, unfortunately, there's nothing else around here that is better suitable or a little bit bigger. But I will make a video on rappelling in the next few weeks, so look out to that one. All right, I'm gonna pick up my pieces and equipment and walk back to camp. Right, I'm getting hungry, so I'm gonna make a meal. It's gonna be very simple. It's gonna be an Uncle Ben's original golden vegetable rice, and I mixed through that some salmon pieces. All right, let's set it up. Yummy. Tonight I'm gonna use this light for the first time. I bought it for $11 from AliExpress. It's awesome, very compact. I have it, I had it on the backpack when I walked in, so hopefully it's charged enough. Alright, so the wind picked up a little bit, so I added another guy line from the center of the tarp. And here is camp by night. I like these lights. Simple, cheap, but it works brilliantly. Alright, time to pack. Have a quick look here at this little cave. So if I ever come back here, and chances are I will, and I do have rain, and this is the place to stay. Well, that is pretty cool, eh? Plenty of options. You should not be a sleepwalker, obviously. Depending on the temperature, but you only need a ground sheet and a sleeping bag, and this one makes a perfect shelter. Awesome, let's go back. Alright guys, this beautiful morning wraps up an epic overnighter. If you like it, you may want to give it a thumbs up, you may want to subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in the future.